There's a billionaire energy tycoon named Rich Kinder, and he's the CEO and co-founder of the pipeline giant Kinder Morgan. And he decided that this week would be a good time to consolidate his various companies. So he announced a $70 billion mega deal that would streamline all of its publicly traded entities into one company. So the stocks of Kinder Morgan Energy Partners, El Paso Pipeline Partners, and Kinder Morgan Management all shot up on the news that there was going to be this massive consolidation because for whatever reason, investors loved the news. So Rich Kinder, he made $1.5 billion on Monday morning because of the news. One day. I'm fucking floored by that. $1.5 billion in one day? How is that even, is that a record? How is that even fucking possible? And, quote, the 69-year-old Texan already has an estimated net worth of $10.1 billion, according to Forbes. Okay, look, I think this story alone is a perfect argument for a high marginal tax rate. Now, very rarely nowadays do you hear somebody actually come out and just flat out argue for a high tax rate in some scenarios. But guess what? That's exactly what I'm going to fucking do. Why? Because it makes sense. So understand something. When we talk about how in the golden age of economic expansion, the top marginal tax rate in the U.S. was between 70% and 90%, that doesn't mean the government actually takes 90% of your money. Okay, that's not what that means. A marginal tax rate is different from an income tax rate or a regular tax rate. A marginal tax rate means your first X amount of money, depending on where you draw the line, is taxed at a lower rate, and then everything above that is taxed at a higher rate. And that's what a marginal rate is. So, for example, you can set up a tax system in the U.S., or you could change the tax code, tweak the tax code to make it so that, well, if you make over $1 billion per year, everything over that $1 billion is taxed at 90% or taxed at 100%. And guess what? That's exactly what we should do. Why? Because we have kids that are starving. Have you seen Detroit recently? Have you seen some inner city places? Have you looked at Chicago? Have you seen any of the things that are going on? Kids are starving. People don't have health care. Even though we stepped in the right direction with Obamacare, we still have the military-industrial complex wasting our money overseas. We still have corporate welfare, which is blowing a hole in the budget. We still have a war on the middle class and the poor, obviously, by definition, doing even worse. So with all these massive problems that we're facing, the idea that we can't use the revenue, even from a conservative perspective, if you say, well, I care about the national debt and I care about the deficit. Okay, the answer is simple. Why not tax people who make over $1 billion a year at 90% or 100% over that $1 billion? You're going to be okay with the $1 billion. You can't run out of $1 billion. And if you can run out of $1 billion, you should fucking cut back. I have no problem saying that. Okay? I'm not going to do the stupid, over-the-top, fake liberal argument of, well, if they want to make that much money and they want to spend that much money, then it says, hey, this is their life, this is their decision, this is bad. No, because that's not a good argument, okay? The reality is, you know how conservatives always say, well, my money doesn't make you rich. Bullshit. Of course it does. There's a finite amount of money in the world at any given time. There's not an infinite amount of money. There's a finite amount of money. And it has to be divvied up in some way, right? It has to be divvied up in one way or another. And the way we've decided to divvy it up is fucking retarded. Excuse my language for the extra sensitive progressives out there who don't like when people use the R word, okay? But I'm fired up, man, because look, what was the study recently? The richest 85 people have more wealth than the bottom 3.5 billion. 85 people have more money than half of the fucking world. You could fit 85 people in a double-decker bus. A double-decker bus has more money than half the world. Okay, no, you can't address that problem in any other way but by doing a high marginal tax rate. And I'm not against people being rich. For fuck's sake, get rich as much as you want. I'd love to be rich. It's nice to have total financial security and to say, all right, I'm all set here. But when you do it at the expense of others to the point where you make $1.5 billion in one day by doing a trick, that's all it is a financial trick, and you walk away scot-free, well, no, that's a fucking problem, dude. Go feed some kids in Oklahoma, for fuck's sake. Tax that money. Do something better with it. Build a road, build a bridge, fix the bridges. Infrastructure in the U.S. has a D+. And we're letting some guy make $1.5 billion by shuffling some shit around on a computer screen and he didn't actually do anything or produce anything? This is insanity. Look, your free market value, your economic value, is not equal to your human value. For too long, we've bought into that fucking myth, that mindset, that thought virus of you're only worth what your economic value is. What your value is in the marketplace is what you're worth in real life. No, that's nonsense. That's absolute nonsense. You're worth more as a person than what you do for a fucking living, okay? You deserve to eat. You deserve to have a roof over your head. You deserve health care. And a lot of times people don't fucking get it. They don't get it, and this jack-off makes $1.5 billion in a day. Spare me, man. The system is stupid. We need to fix it. Tax the mega-rich more. They're going to be all right. I still want them to be mega-rich, but not mega-rich at other people's expense. I don't want them to rig the system. Okay? Give us all health care. Give us all education. Give us a fucking starting point so that we could actually have an equal opportunity to the point where a kid in inner-city Harlem has the same shot as Mitt Romney's son. But they won't do that, and I'm a naive optimist for even asking for it.